Hello, welcome back to my channel. Only Luke today, as City Connect can't come. Told us before that he can't come, so no worries. Still go check out his channel if you haven't already. Big up to Stop Online Hate. I'm just gonna call you Stop for short from now on. Big up. 7-0 hat-tricks from Foden and KDB, and an own goal from Bruno Fernandes to really seal it off. Yeah, go check out the channels here.
I love it.
Alf and Liam are flopped ITKs. Liam from This Is City, if you don't know. That's an inside joke and a half. Right, so Rosa. I never said that he's staying at Man City. I said he wants to stay fit for the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah.
He's not retiring. He's leaving Man City to go play in a retirement league or something. I don't think he'll retire. He just won't play for Man City anymore.
He do well at Serie A. He could in Serie A right now. I think Serie A, if I'm honest, go to AC Milan, go into Milan. He cooked there easily. Imagine Inter Milan with Martinez and up front with Thuram. They got Kevin De Bruyne playing them. I think, because if I'm being real, right, he's now playing for every English teammate. He ain't doing that at all to us because he's a City guy through and through. And I'm sure if he could retire here, he would have done. I think he would have done. But the problem is, the legs have gone. Not the ability. The legs have gone. When the legs go in this league, it's unforgiving. The quality is still there. Like, look at the stats. Still one of the best assist percentiles in the league still. Despite not being anywhere near the top 10. Look, it's not his fault, man. Like, the guys gave up his hamstrings for this club. He broke all the records possible for midfielder. Like, the guy deserves, mate. The guy goes out there as a legend of English football.
I agree. I think that's I saw some dumb fucking tweet as well. I saw some utterly stupid tweet saying that Mo Salah bullied De Bruyne out of the league. Like, he's got 3 times the league titles Salah has. Like, literally 3 times the amount.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, because Liverpool's league titles done anyway. No one cares anymore. It's 20 times. No one really cares, mate. For being real, just like
I care because now we can say Man United is not the biggest team in England.
Yeah,
it's a small win for Man City. It's a small win.
Yeah. But the thing is, mate, if we're being real, no one really cares about Liverpool win the league, and that sounds like I'm being over the bit. No one cares about us win the league. Like, the fact is, English football's been pretty poor. And I'm calling it. Like, we're losing a big player over it, by the way. Like, De Bruyne's been the face of this league now for the past 10 years. Like, obviously Aguero's been that, and obviously Aguero was face of the league, but so was Hazard, then it was De Bruyne, but so is Salah. I think them two have been probably the face.
He's been the face of the fourth beat. He was the face of the fourth beat, and the fourth beat. Well, let me ask you this question before you go on to Haaland: is the fourth beat the biggest achievement in English football? Like, obviously, you can say in a single season, the treble is obviously better, but the treble is part of that fourth beat. So,
for me, it is because no one's done for. Look at, like, if you go back in time, right? The Prestons of this world. Preston were a massive team in like the 80s, in like Victoria. I know it's way back then, but they're still a big team. Yeah, but they're still a big team in that regard. I mean, to be honest with you, Preston were one of those teams that if they ever came back, I think it'd be good to see like Huddersfield and that. They were big teams for the time. Like, it doesn't matter if they're shit now. They were good teams at one point. So at Portsmouth, so a lot of good teams. Like Blackburn won one league title.
Beat Portsmouth 1-0 in an FA Cup final.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't know that.
look at Leicester are shit now, but Leicester won an FA Cup and the Premier League, mate, last few years. Like, Leicester are still, for me, a big club in that right because they've actually won stuff. That they've actually won an English league title, mate, in Liverpool, City, Arsenal's and era. Like, fair play to them. That's incredible. But it shows that football, mate, is a humbler. Football can change in the blink of an eye, and when it comes to De Bruyne, and I said this before, like, I think it was either this season or one more year. It was never going to be a case of he's here for another 3 years. We all kind of knew, right? We had to move on at some point. Now, is he leaving because Vert's coming in? Maybe.
Well, I don't think so. I think that De Bruyne leaving is completely separate from Florian Wirtz because if we bring in Florian Wirtz, there's no reason to move on De Bruyne. And if we move on De Bruyne, there's no reason why we still can't get Wirtz. I think they just have nothing to do with each other. If we get Florian Wirtz in, okay, De Bruyne plays the cup games, he plays 30 minutes here and there. Florian Wirtz is not going to play full 90s the moment he gets here. He's going to be told, listen, the Premier League is different from Bundesliga. You want to become great in the Premier League, you have to get used to the Premier League. When Haaland first arrived, who is a way bigger name player than Wirtz, he was getting substituted off after 60 minutes in his first 15 games. There's not a lot of players that come into the Premier League, play every game 90 minutes. So if Florian Wirtz comes and De Bruyne stays, like in this hypothetical situation, the same rotational stuff would have happened as if he came and De Bruyne isn't here. So I don't think that De Bruyne leaving has anything to do with Wirtz. But it does show that we're starting to move on from these older players, hopefully. Hopefully, we see Gundogan retired. I don't want him to do that extension. And hopefully, Bernardo Silva, I think he has one more year left on his contract. Correct me if I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
I want him to retire at this club, but I don't want him to stay at Man City, if you get what I'm saying. So for the Bernardo Silva, also we'll talk about the Bernardo Silva interview later to get the negativity out, and then we'll get to the positives. Bernardo Silva, I actually think he will stay. I don't want him to stay, by the way, just to preface, but I think he'll stay because Gundogan and De Bruyne are the two most obvious to leave.
Yeah.
Because De Bruyne has already announced he is leaving. You can't bin off every player at once. Kyle Walker has to go. He's more of a pressing issue than Bernardo Silva. One of the loan spots will be used on Calvin Phillips. You're only allowed to loan out 6 players at any given point. So how do we get rid of Bernardo Silva? I think we don't. I think we have to let him run down his contract. That's the only way we get rid of him, to be honest.
I'm fine. Personally, I'm fine with that. As long as we get players in as well. Like I think the thing is, you can't get all experience in one summer. You can't. You have to kind of cut it down. So for me, if it's De Bruyne and Gundogan, I've Kovacic at the four of them, is what it is. Kovacic is another year possible, and we've got Bernardo as backup. It's fine. Look, the rebuild won't be done over one window. It's going to take at least 2 or 3 years to change the current team into a new team. And we've got to realise that. Now, for me, right, after De Bruyne goes, it's the Haaland team now. It's Haaland's team at that point because...
Yeah.
And look
he's already been... but just to interject, my apologies. He's already been given captaincy at a few points. He's going to be the captain of the club soon.
He'll be captain at some point. Look, I love Ruben Diaz, right? But if I'm being perfectly real, right, do you know I want as captain of this club? Erling Haaland. Because I actually think, well, maybe not next season, but the next 3 or 4 years, I give him the captaincy. Because I think Haaland, to me, is one of them guys, he's not arrogant. Well, he's got arrogance about him, but an ego, but it's in check, it's controlled. I think he's one of them players that I think will actually... He respects the club. He loves the club so much, like Kevin De Bruyne does. And I trust him to lead this team going forward. Look, Bournemouth game aside, look, we got a goal, but we all know how the levels are way better than that. But it's one game. You got a goal at least, which is better than nothing. If you got nothing, fair enough. But the way I look at it with Haaland, right, he knows his level. His standards are so high of himself. And that's why I think for me, he's the perfect player to come into this team right now, obviously, the last couple of years, to sort of take over from Kevin De Bruyne's leadership. Now, I want to win the FA Cup this year for Kev. It's been a shit season.
I want to win the FA Cup for all the players that are leaving. Like, Kevin is not the only one leaving. There's a lot of them that are going to leave that deserve an FA Cup. Grealish, I think Pep kind of screwed over Grealish. I think Pep kind of screwed over McAtee by playing without emotions. Yeah. He played without emotions, promised them things that he didn't fulfill. I don't want them to leave empty-handed after being lied to, because they have been lied to, let's be honest. I want them to get at least something to leave on. Does Diaz want the captaincy?
I think, I would... Joe, what? Right, I would give it to Diaz because I think I like Diaz as he does speak very well, and he's been captain of Benfica before, so I do trust him. But with Ruben Diaz, he needs to get himself into good form. Because if you're gonna be captain, I need you playing week in, week out. Because look, Vincent Kompany for me is still the best captain to ever play for this club. Look, you go for obviously Etihad era. I know
Not the
Kipak's era.
not the
Fair
best
enough.
player to be captain,
No.
but the best captain, because that's two different things, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously, there could be other captains in the Kipak's era, 670. Look, I'm sure if we went back in time,
Yeah.
the probably is better captain of the company. But we're going off our era and what we know in the 2000s is company, in my opinion. Ruben Diaz is a leader. He is, and I think he can do that job really well. But we've got to see him playing week in, week out. Rather than he's playing a few games, he's injured again. I want to see him playing week in, week out. His levels of consistency, and I want to see the levels go up from here. I think if I look at Haaland, I think Haaland's gonna be vice captain next year. Or no, it'll be Diaz, Rodri as two captains.
Rodri said he
Haaland
doesn't
third
want
captain.
the captaincy. Rodri said he doesn't want it.
No. Well, I said vice captain. Rodri. I think third captain Haaland. That's what I go for next year. I wouldn't give Gundogan. Look, Gundogan's the captain of the club, and also a captain in his own right as well, Gundogan. But I wouldn't give him the captaincy now. It's like, if at best 1 more year, if we're being real, at best 1 year, like so. And look, when he goes right, Gundogan, I love him still anyway. I still love him. I don't think he's a top player, but like Kevin De Bruyne, the legs have gone. In Serie A, he cook easily in Serie A. Like, but look, both of us know, right? I don't hate any of my players at all. I'm not that kind of player. I just we know where our squad is right now. We know where it is, and we know that things have got to change. And I know it's gonna take time to do that. I'm fine with it. I just want to see us start changing. But I respect for everyone who plays for our club. Like, look, Nunez, for me, right, he's actually a good player, but he's not our level player. He'd be great for a mid-table team, or maybe for like a Brighton or a Villa playing like. He'd be good for them right now. He'd be good for them, but not for us, which is fine. A lot of squad players, not enough world-class players. We need to get first-team world-class players in this team. And when we do that, it's a bit of a difference.
But you know what the thing is, yeah? You know what the thing is? At this window, I believe you can get all the world-class players you need in this window. But you still need to have those squad players too. But when you look at Matheus Nunes, he's not even good enough to be a squad player. Let's be brutally honest. He's not good enough to be a squad player.
No, he's not a bad player either. He's not a bad player. He's not a player for us. We need to understand this. Nunes would be great at Aston Villa, great for Brighton, because he would not necessarily the style of play, but he can box midfielder, can play on the wing. Brilliant for that.
You know what it is, yeah? He has best skills. He has 3 skills, and that is his entire game. Again, not a bad player, but he only has 3 skills, and that is driving on the ball, crossing, and occasionally scoring a goal. That are his only 3 skills. He can play through balls, but not consistent. Like, this is what I hate when people say, oh, look, this player did that, so that's a skill of his. No, because he can't do it consistently. Nunez can play a through ball once in a while. He can't do it consistently. The skills he has limits him to certain types of play styles. That is almost every player in the world. What people need to understand here is it's not normal for a player to be able to thrive in every system out there. That's only the best of the best. Erling Haaland can play counter-attacking football and be the best player on the pitch. Erling Haaland can score a hat-trick while playing with his back to goal. Isak cannot score hat-tricks if he plays with his back to goal. That is not the type of player he is. That doesn't make him bad.
He's a world-class striker for me. Isak's a world-class striker, in my opinion. I've seen enough from him. Well, maybe I think what it is with Isak is I think I've seen enough from him to be that level. But again, I think it went to someone like
Arsenal.
What
my problem is with talking world class? Because I don't agree with you on how. I think we both agree on how good he is. I think we disagree on what world class is. Because when I say world class, I mean like Lewandowski. I mean Erling Haaland. So that is a level of Isak.
You know what? If we're going off of that, I think he's level below that, which isn't bad, but that's still very, very good level. I think he'll get there. He'll definitely get there if he gets. I think the issue with Isak is like Tonali, like Bruno. In better teams, they'll be even better. No offense, Newcastle fans love Newcastle, but I think they're going to be a team that, as I thought, if they get Brian Mbeumo and Cunha in that team, trust me, they're going top 4 next year. Maybe top 3.
Cunha?
I think Cunha's good for Wolves, but in a better team, you might see him cook even more than what he's doing. I think Mbeumo for me is a brilliant player. Like scores for 14, 15 goals in a terrible Brentford team. Well, not
Yeah.
terrible. Medium Brentford team.
But here's the thing: Brentford gets guided by Embremo. At least I think so. They get guided by Risa and Embremo.
Because, well, even Weiss is a good player, by the way. Weiss is a very good player. like them two players would cook at Villa, player like that. They would be, I think, but I think Wemo and Cunha both playing for Newcastle, you see the levels go up of the entire team. Because I think Cunha in behind Isak with Bruno and maybe like Tonali, and you got like Wemo on the right, Gordon on the left. That's going to be a dangerous team for anyone. So watch this space, Newcastle, or go for them two in the summer, I reckon. And yeah, it's what I mean. Like, I think this summer's going to be quite huge for a lot of teams. Like Forest, if Forest get Champions League this year, they have to invest. Because not being funny, right? Don't wrong. Big up players like Ryan Yates now, whose levels go up this year, but they're not going to be the level required for a Champions League team. I think I look at their team, right? It's very average. For being real, like it's not a terrible team. I think that they've really have proved themselves this year. I mean, Chris Wood's not a Champions League striker. He's not. He's a very good. He's a very good striker.
He's also aging, by the way. He's like 33.
Yeah, but he's still making the goals. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
But Forest and me have built a good team when Hudson, Doyle, Langer. Then them two have got better and better them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, the Champions League, as we all know, is a different level of football. It's different. It's different level. Now, Forest, look, Villa to me have blown me away this year. Like, Premier League, not so much, but Champions League, brilliant. Like Rashford's cooking right now. I know it's Preston and Brighton, but he's still getting goals in this Villa team now. He's getting more consistency in this Villa team, right? That's because he's playing a team that suits him more than Man United is, but that's how it goes. But Villa have a team now that I think if they invested more in their team, they're up there again. But it's what I mean. Like the league isn't terrible per se. I think the top teams have fallen off, but the teams around them have gotten better, which is good for the league to have a competitive league. But the top teams need to get better themselves to make the league even better. Like, are you as a foreign fan yourself who watches the Belgian league and other leagues? So you understand Europe a little bit more than I do, but I watch Europe as well. The Premier League will get better when the top 6 teams actually invest in the team. Like Tottenham, like Man United, they get better team players in their teams. You'll see the rest of the league get better as a result. The problem is at the moment is as a talent drain. In Premier League.
You know what the problem is with football? It's a zero-sum game. It's a zero-sum game because all the do you know what a zero-sum game is, by the way? Because I know a lot of people don't entirely know the concept. But
heard of it.
Yeah, if you don't know what a zero-sum game is, it means there is a particular amount, let's say 100. Let's say 100 world-class players. Just for argument's sake. No one can have more than 100 players. And if one team has 100, it means the rest have 0. So that's a zero-sum game. It means that if one team has more, the others will have less. That is how zero-sum games work. The economy is often described as a zero-sum game. And it's basically a game where there cannot be more coming in. There's a limited amount. And if you don't have the limited amount and someone else has it, you cannot get it unless you get it from someone else, like a transfer.
Yeah.
In football, it's a zero-sum game. When the best talents go to La Liga, it means the best talents leave the Premier League, leave Serie A. So that is why the more talents go to a single league, the worse the rest leagues gets. Because the idea that the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Liga, Bundesliga can all be good at once, it's impossible. Because there are not enough world-class players and high-level players around to have all these leagues be good at the same time. Because if they were all at the same level, it would mean they would be barely above other leagues like Eredivisie, Liga Portugal, Belgian Pro League.
Yeah.
So it's necessary for some of these leagues to get worse than others. That's by the way, if you look at the Bundesliga, or Bayern Munich have a dominance. Yes, but you can't have a competitive Bundesliga. 1 second, my fault.
Yep, that's right. I'll waffle on for a bit. No, but I mean, I think if you look at it, right, there is a bit of a change up right now. I think of talent overall. I think when I look right at someone like Marmoush, right, who's coming from Frankfurt. I'm not saying he's world class, by the way, yet, but he will get there on the current trajectory that he's playing right now. I think next season at City, he'll be brilliant. I'm gutted that Kev's going now. Imagine Kev with Marmoush and Haaland right now. isn't he?
Mhm.
But in a way,
I think if he didn't have that hamstring injury, like you remember when we played him against Burnley, when they were all
Yeah.
saying he needs to get that surgery.
he
If
should-
he had
he should-
that
he should be rested.
surgery, if he
Yeah.
had that surgery instead of playing against Burnley, I think he would still be playing for Man City right now.
I would have told him, right, you've won a treble now. You rest up, take the time off if you need
Yeah.
to, time with family for a few months. Foden, you whatever, get midfielder in, do your jobs. Because I think Kev for me's earned that right for that anyway. Like he's carried his club on his back for years, and look, you and me. Look, at one point in the summer, I will do a 4-hour Kevin De Bruyne chat because I can do that easily because he's that good of a player that he's worth discussing over. And by the way, so's David Silva, by the way, and Torre and Aguero. They're unbelievable players in their own right. But Kev's a player, and even they'll say that as well. So look at Aguero's comment today about Kev. Aguero loves De Bruyne. Like, I can't wait to see a testimonial when David Silva and De Bruyne get played together one last time, because that would just be for me. Because Silva's still a good, is still a good player now. Like he's like, like was it what? He was 38-39 playing Spain and still balling out. He got Sociedad. What was it like is it UCL? Well, then, like it was for injury, ACL injury. He probably would have played on because Silva's game was not about physicality. It was on the ball. He's like a Xavi Iniesta kind of player.
Yeah.
And as a technical player, as I got older, I appreciate that more and more. And David was a fantastic player for that, and that's why Silva and De Bruyne together was the perfect combination. He had the all power, all game-changing player in De Bruyne, but Silva contributed that with runs into the box, helping him out with assists. Like both them two together, right, combined, were probably the best midfielders I've seen in the Premier League together. Like, and
it's the best midfield combination, other than Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets that I've ever seen. Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets is the only midfield I've ever seen. That's
imagine prime Rodri, prime David Silva, and prime Kevin De Bruyne. That's the best midfield I'm seeing. I think honestly that would probably cook Busquets, Xavi, and Iniesta for being real.
Would it? I'm not sure. I think it will be very interesting.
I want to see.
I'm not sure. It's difficult to compare. Like,
yeah, no, I think Rodri's didn't play the Busquets, hasn't he? But Busquets has more control. Rodri's more pace and more defense. Rodri, I think for me, will probably be the better player than Busquets will be over time. But Busquets was still a good player for what he did.
What I'm thinking, because I think that Busquets was like, you cannot win the ball off of Busquets. Like, no matter how good Rodri is, you can win the ball off of Rodri. You won't, but you can.
Yeah.
You just can't get the ball off of Busquets. It's like you will have an easier time getting it off of Messi. Like, of course, Busquets won't do the dribbles that Messi does. Busquets won't make the passes that Messi does. But
that
he just
Busquets
never
assist.
loses the ball.
That assist with Messi, that goal. I watched the game live. Well, not live up there. I wish I was there. I've been incredible. But
you mean the ball where Busquets leaves it, Messi dribbles through and scores? That one?
One of the best goals I've seen, because that Barcelona team, I know Pep's Barca team was good, but that team there, that 2011 team was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like don't wrong, we play some good football ourselves towards near that level. But if I'm saying Pep's best team, I don't know whether it's us or it's Barcelona, because I'm thinking it's a debate in itself we could have constantly for hours on end.
You know what I think?
What?
It's because here's the thing. Pep Guardiola is a genius manager, and this is the thing I always go back to. He's a genius manager. And the reason he's a genius is because he reinvented football. He changed football fundamentally. Same with Jose Mourinho. They are the two managers that changed football. Mourinho defensively, Pep possession-wise, holding on the ball, attacking-wise. Yeah. When Pep first came onto the scene, Pep's first season as a manager will always be his best season as a manager. He will never be able to top it. And here is why. Because his tactics did not exist when he first came onto the scene. He invented them that season. If Pep Guardiola had the treble-winning Man City as his first season, that treble-winning Man City would have been a lot better than the treble-winning Barcelona.
Yeah.
But it was Pep's debut with that treble-winning Barcelona. All his tactics were new, and that is why they were pretty much impossible to beat. I think they lost like 2 or 3 games, and all of them were in Pep's first 15 games. Then they didn't lose another game, and that is all competitions. So I think it's impossible to compare those two, and that's such a cop out. I know it's such a cop out, but when people compare these teams, you can compare players individually, I think, and even that's difficult. But you can't compare two teams as a whole from completely different eras. I think that's impossible. So I also grew up, by the way, watching that team, like that treble-winning team from Barcelona. That's something I grew up on. Like, I have a lot of nostalgia about that. I mean, I have nostalgia about the treble, but as an adult, like I wasn't an adult when I watched treble-winning Barcelona. So your memories as a child are very faulty. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, to be honest.
Joe, I'll ask you this right. I'll the chat as well, right? What was your favorite Kevin De Bruyne moment per se?
The goal against Chelsea, because he scored against Chelsea, which was his former club. The goal from outside of the box, he picked it up. I believe from Aguero. He picked it up. From
Jesus.
Aguero, right?
Jesus laid off.
Yeah, and he scored it.
For me, it's either the Gundogan assist because the way he tied his shoes up and like, carried the team forward. I mean, I was at that game live actually. That's my first ever Etihad game. Now I know it sounds mad me getting a first, but it's Villa at home, and also everyone thought we win that game comfortably. Turned out it was a mad game, but I was there at that game live. I had the honor of witnessing that. Although it wasn't, I mean, my heart was in my mouth of like after Tino scored the goal, and then we went on, and I've never seen a ground, by the way, just change from absolute depression to 5 minutes of like me in a bundle at the end of it, a lot of different people, and the ground shaking around me. Like that's football to me in a nutshell. Like that is the best atmosphere I've been to. I mean, I was at Madrid, sadly. I wish I was there to witness that, but. Yeah. When that went in, right, for Gundogan, right, I've never felt a feeling like it in my life because it was the rush of adrenaline you get, when you're thinking you think that you can see a bottling, and Kevin De Bruyne just sits there. I actually saw him tie a shoe. I thought, oh, okay, he's going for it now. And that assist, by the way, was one of the hardest. That assist, by the way, is hard. By the way, the way he had to run past was it Mings and off balance control it. That's not easy to do, but it's not just a simple pass across the box. That was actually a great assist, what he did there. Like off balance, ball bouncing. He got the ball, went past 2 players, and then smashed it off the Gundogan. And the overall goal is.
And he had to win the ball back as well, by the way. Like he was not close to that ball. He had to rush into it to win that ball back.
Genuinely, one of the best players I've seen play. I mean, I've seen him assist Haaland a number of times live now. I'm grateful to have seen him assist Haaland a number of times, right? But watching him on the ball, mate, he's one of the most just technically gifted players. Like I watched a video by Culture Cams and Liez, who both do good content about football stuff. I know they're both rival fans who put United, but they're actually quite fair on stuff, right? They both wax lyrical about Kevin De Bruyne because they think he's absolutely he's everything. I think you're right, he is, because he does things that I think even Messi can sort of do, but he's that kind of like player. That kind of player. I think that as a player, Messi is probably the best I think I've seen. But De Bruyne technically is probably the nearest person you actually will get to him, which sounds quite biased. When you factor in what Messi did on the pitch and what Kev did on the pitch, maybe not so
creatively,
goals.
Yes, creatively, yes.
Not goal scoring, but creatively. That's what I mean. Creativity wise, they're both probably on par. Goal scorer, Messi's clear, but even Kev can score good goals himself anyway. But that's what I mean. I'm trying to say better than Messi, by the way. I'm not that kind of. I'm not doing that. Like Messi.
The big hater for Rosa is Leicester City free kick. That was Leicester City away in the treble season.
The posting in that free kick was absolutely beautiful. The Brazil goal was brilliant as well, by the way. And by the way,
Brazil.
By the way, he should be a winner of the World Cup. By the way, that should have been. That should have been the age. I mean, I think if he wins the World Cup, right, I think he's Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, because Modric only got it because of the World Cup. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Ronaldo was better than him for the Real Madrid. Like in La Liga, and
even Bale was. Bale was better than him, but he got to go to the final.
The rest of the midfield was better than him. Kroos was better than him.
Yeah, like honestly, right? If Kev won the World Cup, right, he wins the Ballon d'Or, and because look again, I know.
You know
Hazard.
why I think, maybe this is a biased opinion, you know why I think they gave it to Modric? Because I think Ronaldo should have won it. They gave it to Modric because Real Madrid was pissed that Ronaldo left them. Because Ronaldo did not leave on Real Madrid's terms. And they started pushing out the PR for Modric. Because they realized he's having a good run. That is why Modric won it, even though it should have been Ronaldo.
But Joy is right. I actually sort of read something. Was it that summer in 2020 when he was linked with was it Messi was linked to going to us in 2020?
You mean after he left Barcelona? Yeah.
Well, it was the year before he left. It was the year before he left to PSG. Apparently, he and Pep had conversations about because he wanted to come to City. And bear in mind, right, we can safely say Messi won't pay for us. Yeah. Imagine, and he's apparently spent an hour chatting to Pep about Kevin De Bruyne. Messi's a Kevin De Bruyne fan.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself should give you enough reason. Like, imagine them two playing together. You would have the best creative players in the world. With
imagine how. You know what's funny about Messi at Brazil? I say Brazil because Brazil is talking about Brazil. PSG. People say Messi flopped at PSG. He had the best assisting stats in Europe at PSG.
Messi,
what people don't realize, what people don't realize, a flop season for Lionel Messi is better than Ballon d'Or winning Vinicius Jr. Which is funny because Vinny didn't win the Ballon d'Or.
But Joe what? I actually think if Messi came to City right in 2020, I think Aguero probably been a lot better. I reckon Aguero would have stayed longer.
I don't think he would have stayed. I think he. Okay. I think the club, because the club also wanted him to kind of move on, so they could get Kane in, and then they flopped the Kane deal. But he got Haaland, so it's fine.
But the thing is, right? Imagine if I know people are like, oh, but it doesn't matter. We won all the stuff. We have. But do you think? Imagine we actually got Messi in. That's a what if for me. Because if we got Messi in, like, yeah, he's 32, 33. I don't care.
Messi... De Bruyne to enter Miami.
That's what I want. Because I'll tell you right now, imagine Neymar goes into Miami. You got Neymar.
He's at Santos, isn't he?
Yeah, but imagine Inter Miami try getting him, right? And you had MSM with Kevin De Bruyne and Busquets in midfield. Who will be there?
Does Iniesta still play football?
No, he's retired now. But apparently,
okay,
Pep might be getting him in as a coach next year. See.
Iniesta is actually a coach that will tell Pep to shut up. You remember when Iniesta told Pep to shut up on the pitch as well?
Him and Fernandinho, by the way, are perfect for Pep. Because they'll say, right, no. Like, Fernand's the City guy. Iniesta's good for Foden. Because
I think Iniesta.
But Foden isn't lost to me. He's not. Foden, the player is still in there. I haven't given up on him at all. But he needs someone to give him that belief again. So, right, forget what's happened to you. Look, it's happened. It sucks. It's life. It's what it is. Don't think you aren't Kevin De Bruyne. You'll be Kevin De Bruyne, but you're Phil Foden, bro. You've been a player of the year.
You know what Iniesta needs to do? Iniesta needs to teach Foden to be his own player, because Foden, you know how everyone says we don't know what Foden's position is. Foden does not know what his position is. At one moment, he's the David Silva replacement. The next moment, he's the Kevin De Bruyne replacement. The next moment, he's the Nasri replacement, which I saw people say last week, which doesn't even make sense. It's completely different.
He's still Foden. He's still Foden, bro.
The next moment, he's the replacement to this player. He needs to learn he's his own player. He has Phil Foden. That's what he needs to learn.
Yeah. He's Phil Foden. Let him be Phil Foden. This is honestly, I don't need Phil Foden to be someone else. I need him to be his own player. So I think Phil Foden is a fantastic player. Not world class yet. He can be world class, but I'm not putting that accolade on him because he has to be doing it every year. Like Marmoush. Marmoush does it every year from now on. You're a world class player, but he will get there. I think he has the ego, Marmoush, to do that. But again, it's a great year, by the way. Frankfurt and City with both a bit mixed teams, but getting 38 GNA for energy in
39
is.
He needs one more goal for 40.
But by the way, right, that's insane. Let's say that's better, right, than a certain Brazilian left winger. Just saying.
Rodrigo.
No, the guy saying that. He's better than me, Junior, right now. So I'm joking. but mate, we have got a very good young team of players coming through right now. Like O'Reilly's a good
Absolutely.
player. Savino's a good player. Like, look, Savino's been a bit hit and miss, but you
O'Reilly.
can see O'Reilly, Doku, please turn it around.
You know what thing is with Doku? He's too erratic. Like he's too erratic.
He's like Lamana. Very similar players.
There has to be like a more healthy balance between I'm dribbling past everyone and I'm going to pass the ball backwards every time. Like there needs to be a healthy balance somewhere, right?
Savio's definitely near, I'd say, the more refined player. I think Bob, by the way, it was good. I know we have Leicester, but it's good to see Bob back on the pitch with Leicester. I know he didn't do a lot, but I don't care. He's on the pitch. It means we're seeing him a lot more now, which is good. And trust me, I think Bob's ability is still there, by the way. He'll get that confidence back in himself over time. And we need someone like him in the team again because we need Savio and Bob to be the wingers. But the thing is, like, going back to, like, obviously, Kev, obviously, go on to Derby in a bit anyway. I think for me, right, I'm not worried about Kev going because Kev's kind of come down himself anyway. It's like Kev's playing an unbelievable season, is he? And we're kind of play. Kev's last season, Kev was unbelievable. He came back from injury and just absolutely did really well. Like, he actually cooked pretty well for that title win at the end. Like, all against Palace, the way he cut inside and curled it in top right.
Yeah, that was equalizer. And then he also assisted a goal that after that, right?
Haaland, and then he, outside the left foot smashed near post.
What game was it that he scored the flying header? What game was that?
Brighton. That was a brilliant goal.
Oh, Brighton, right.
Again, the guy is not terrible. The guy's not washed. He's not at all. The problem is the Premier League is a physical, pacey league. In something like Serie A, trust me, he'd be brilliant for at least 2 or 3 years. Okay, then MLS. Is a Saudi
international football, you'll still be able to do it because in international football it's also less physical. Because here's the thing: is international football, like what people don't understand, I think, about international football, because I see people make mad systems for international teams, and I'm like, you have 3-4 weeks to prepare at most. Normally, you have like 1 week to prepare for these like international games. You can't get systems like that going. 1 week of preparation. You need to play basic football. If you're with a very physical team in international football, you're going to play 4-4-2 or you're going to play 4-3-3. If you want to be gung-ho all game, international football, Liverpool style, gagging pressing, that's not going to work. International team, by the way, you don't have world-class players everywhere. What's the best international team right now, in your opinion?
Right, I'm going to go through them, that's all right, because I'm going to be real. So, England, I don't know yet. Because I'm going to be real here.
I'm just talking about players, by the way. Just about players.
Players. Right, okay. I think Spain or Argentina for me.
Spain and Argentina.
Yeah. But if I'm being real.
Spain has terrible fullback, not terrible goalkeeper, but a poor goalkeeper. Argentina has poor centre backs as well. So even the best teams in international football have weaknesses. It's also like club football, where you can just buy the best. You're limited to what your country has to offer.
Mate, Brazil were terrible, by the way. They're fucking terrible.
Did you see that lineup by Brazil?
Like, look, mate, no. Let's be real, right? There's some good players. I love Rafinha, baller. Savinho, future baller. Neymar when he's fit, still world class in my opinion. He is still. Like, he's not a finished player anymore. But Vinicius Junior for me. Exactly, Vinicius Junior for me.
Yeah, but you need to look at what's happening behind, like that. Those players you're talking about, like Franca, Marquinhos, Murillo, Bento. That is their midfield and
Bento in goal, bro. Where's the keeper? Like, honestly, Alisson Ederson, right? I've been poor for them anyway. Like they've got 2 of the best keepers in the world, and they're both average from Brazil. Like we got Militao. Is it Murillo in the back? Like
Murillo.
I like Murillo. By the way, I like Murillo. By the way, he's going to be a good player in the future, but he's not the guy right now for them. Like Militao has been injured constantly, so his legs are going to start going at some point anyway. But you're right. The Brazil midfield is terrible. And well, look, I like Bruno G, but he ain't good for Brazil. Neither is Jolinton, by the way. They're both good for Newcastle, but they ain't good for Brazil. Like I'm pretty sure, right? Spartacus, who's a Brazilian City fan himself, right, would tell you the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So a bit loud, but
You got caught.
now we're all right for now. We're all right for now. But the thing is, Brazil for me are a team that have got some good players in there, but it's just individual players and also wingers. But Rodrigo, Rafinha, Savinho, there's too many players on the wings. Not actually a striker. It's good. It is Endrick, but he's like 17, 18.
Yeah, Endrick is Bobby Charlton fan, by the way.
but mate, Endrick for me, right, needs to be playing week in, week out.
But he won't for Real Madrid. He's got Mbappe ahead of him.
He has to leave. He has to leave. Yeah, and not just on us because we've got Haaland, mate, and Mamouche. He ain't playing over them two, but he'd be great. He'd be great for like. I'm just trying to think who'd be good for like Inter Martinez. I think you just need a team that's like a bit lower that you can play week in, week out for consistently over like a good 2 or 3 years. Like Arline did. Is it Sevilla?
Now I don't want him to go to Liverpool, but he will be good for Liverpool. That's a team that needs a striker.
Yeah, because obviously, look, mate, for us, as strikers, mate, we're sorted now for the next 10 years probably. So we're good on that front. For us, it's more wingers. I mean, wingers. We got Savio, we got Bob, Doku. Jury's out. Grealish is out. Look, I love Jack Grealish. I think he's a good player in there, but it ain't gonna work here, sadly. What should do well at another team? I wish him all the best wherever he goes after this. But we need someone like, for me, someone like Kvaratskhelia would be ideal for us. But unfortunately, he's at PSG, and you ain't getting out PSG right now. PSG are balling out right now. Due, Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Ramos, they're all smashing it right now at PSG. For us, I think it's the midfield I'm worried about. The attack, I'm fine with for now. I'm not worried about the attack too much
Defense,
yet.
we need fullbacks, and for the rest we're fine.
Because look, Joe, what I've got the squad here right now, right, and we'll go through.
Yeah.
So Carson's, look, for me, Carson's 40 years old. He'll be out the door probably this summer anyway. So Spike Britt's third choice keeper. Straight off the bat.
Just random academy player, honestly.
Yeah. Ederson out the door. I'm sorry. If it's on a new deal, get out. Chevalier in or Costa in. Maybe we want to go over there. The good keeper can do that job. For me, Chevalier. For me, Chevalier. I'll go with. But everyone's different now, I suppose. But Ortega, I think, will be out as well. I think Leverkusen will get him in. I think that might probably happen.
Like what I'm looking at here with Leverkusen, they want McAtee, they want Ortega. We want Florian Wirtz. They don't want to sell to Bayern München. Like, this is the thing people need to understand. Oh, every German wants to pay for the Bayern München. Leverkusen does not want to sell to Bayern München.
And also bear in mind as well, right? Wirtz has agreed terms with us.
Yeah, but wasn't that fake? I thought that was fake.
No, I know. I'm not in the know, by the way. I just seen it, like a guy who posts often in LB's chat, posts obviously some news when he gets it. Now, I think that's true, but it doesn't mean he's agreed a deal. Remember, it's 2 weeks' time. Apparently, he has to get back to that. I think we'll know in 2 weeks, and I'm not holding my breath yet. But until I get a Wirtz wants to join City, then I'll be excited for it. Right now, I need to see some actual proof in his actions.
You know what I think here? I don't think we'll know until the transfer window opens.
Probably.
Because you know what thing is here? Right now, there's no transfer window open, but clubs are doing things. People think that all transfers happen in transfer window. The majority of transfers happen before the transfer window, but you just can't finalize them until the transfer window.
Exactly.
For example, Bernardo Silva, he was signed already before the transfer window started. Then transfer window starts. Why don't they immediately announce him? Because they need to get all the players in for the PR. And then they announce the big one latest. That's always what they do. Look at what they did with Nico Gonzalez. They waited and waited to announce him. Then bang, on final day. Because it gets excitement up. And then you get stuff sold. Then you get shirts sold. A lot of transfers happen before the window even starts. Now, Nico Gonzalez may be a bad example because he was deadline day signing, but these players here, if Florian Wirtz is coming, he could be signed already 1st of June, and we will not know until like the 10th of June, which is when the window closes, because that's how these clubs move. And if you know what's the best way to know a player is leaving their club? When all transfer news immediately dies down and nothing is being said about it. Like if they say new contract, okay, but if there's no news at all, suddenly when there was a bunch of news before, that means he signed somewhere and they're keeping it secret until the moment they want to announce it.
Yeah.
So I think for the Wirtz, we won't know where he's going until it's announced.
Yeah. Now, defenders wise, though, we got obviously. I doubt we'll sell everyone defensively at Kanji. I think for me, at Kanji, Ake I'd keep one more year. I think I think Ake for me is not a bad player. I think if the surgery's gone well, for probably what it has done, sorted out the issue he was having, I think he's perfectly fine to come back for one more year for me. Akanji, I'm not so sure on. I
think we can still get money on Akanji, which is also important.
Yeah. Again, I think defensively is not a massive issue at centre backs. I'm not panicking, so I don't mind one more year for some of these players because again, you got Juba Bar there on loan, you've got Kusanov and Vitor Hayes. We're not like crying out for a world class centre back. We've got players that can do that job perfectly fine. Not a bit fullbacks and worry about more. Obviously, Diaz, Vardio, both long term here anyway. Husanov, long term. Husanov for me is a player that is for the future anyway. He's been brilliant recently, but we can't start thinking about that he's this world class player. He will make mistakes. That's fine. Young player, let him develop and get used to the game. But so far, I've seen of him, very good so far. Rico, I'm being perfectly real with you. He's not a bad player, mate, but he's not our level at all. He's not.
Yeah, I agree. He has to be sold off because we can make money on him.
Go on.
You go on.
Okay. He's a good player. But again, like McAtee, like some of the players, well, they're not good. Like Nunez, they're not good enough for us. Not bad players. Then they're not good for us. He'll cook somewhere else. Not here.
The problem with Rico, in my opinion, is he's a midfielder. And he won't get into Man City midfield.
No. He's done well midfield. Yeah, he's done well though. I've seen it, but again, it's not consistent. And I watched him early on the season. He was brilliant. Like some good goals he scored for us and that. But it's not. I'm not sitting here thinking, right, you get in there. Because be real, he's he's a City boy, but who? And like I love it. I like players like Mukasa and that. I'm looking forward to seeing him play. And Gorman, I'm looking forward to seeing him play in the future. O'Reilly's balling out right now, but I think O'Reilly for me, what I think will make it here. I think because O'Reilly's got a lot more in him as a player. Play left back and he's tall enough to bomb forward. He's a very physical player. I trust O'Reilly more than I trust Rico right now.
Well, like when people are talking about fixing up midfield, by the way, because here's the thing: some people want full academy. Promote David Mukasa, full academy.
You can't do that.
And then you have other people who are like, oh, I want to sign Florian Wirtz, I want to sign Barrios, I want to sign, I don't know, some random midfield. What is his name? The guy we've been linked to from...
Larson. To be fair, Larson's not Larson's actually a decent player, but again, I'm not... Well, apparently we're linked with him. I don't mind it. I don't mind him as a player coming through. Like he's very young and he looks pretty good as well. Frankfurt, so he'll do well for us, I reckon. Also, Ginger, by the way. Ginger.
Immediate relegation.
And that's Kevin De Bruyne is here.
De Bruyne doesn't count because he's Belgian, so he gets a pass.
Yeah, but they watch it right. They thought, the Swedish Kevin De Bruyne has arrived.
But now. There's like people who want to only buy players and they want to buy all the best players as they are. And there are people who want to go full academy.
Balance.
And with everything, there's got to be a balance. I agree. And what I think in midfield, listen, we've got Nico Gonzalez and Godry, 2 defensive midfielders.
Brilliant.
We've got Foden, who can play as an 8, I think. He will be an 8. We've got Florian Wirtz potentially coming in. He will be a 10-8. Then you've got Echeverry. I mean, what's happening is there with Echeverry.
Well,
then you've got O'Reilly. O'Reilly can play as an 8, as a 6. He can do both.
Perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. So if you want the best players, you've already got Rodri, you've already got Nico Gonzalez. who you're going to have to give minutes. Both of them you're going to have to give minutes.
They will give minutes.
You've got Foden, who you've got to give minutes. O'Reilly, Pep has said a lot, but now he's actually
O'Reilly will get
living
minutes.
up
He
to his
will.
promise.
O'Reilly will. He definitely will.
Yeah, he will not have his future at left back. I think we will buy a left back. He will become a midfielder, which means because people are talking about getting an extra midfielder to beat the head and third the squad.
O'Reilly's there. O'Reilly's right there. Use him.
Yeah,
because Mukas's too young right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's also not like when you want a midfielder to play like everywhere. Mukasa is not that guy. He's a really good player in his own right, from what I've seen, but he is not a player who will play 10, 6, and 8.
He'll be in a few years. In a few years' time, he'll be in the team. But right now, Finley Gorman, Mukasa, McAdoo, trust me, they'll be getting the team at some point. Pep does like them, but we've got to give these guys time.
Well, that won't be here by the time they get into the
probably
team,
not, but they're both going to be in the team probably at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Because again, they're good players. But I'm not rushing these players through. We've got players that need to get outdoor first. Like obviously going through. So like John Stones, I would sell him on, or 1 more year's contract, run it down, then let him go in the summer. But or sell if you can't sell 1 more year. But you know what I mean. If you can sell him, good. Walker, sayonara, get out. I feel so sorry for Sesbron because he should be sold by now, not loaned out again. Like just sell him. Like he's not a bad player, but he's not a level at all.
He's been raving to Oliver, by the way, in chat. I saw your head like third, like what are you doing? What were you saying? Sorry.
Well, look, obviously you go for a midfield. Oscar Bob, right? Look, for me, he'll be here long term. Like, yeah, bad year, but that's not his fault. I think he's still a good player. I think the levels will still be there. I think we've got to just let him get himself back into form again. And I think he will. Just let him adjust a few minutes here and there in the season. Kevin De Bruyne, it's gonna be weird seeing him on the squad. It's gonna be weird not seeing Kevin De Bruyne on the squad list next year. Doku, jury's out. Jury's out on Doku for me next year. Next year's big for him. Because it's like Grealish, so it's only fair. It's only fair with Grealish.
But Grealish had a great treble season, and I know 1 season is not enough, by the way. But Grealish got that third chance because he had a great treble season.
Yeah,
not so much.
But 18 goals in 3 years is not enough. 4 years is not enough. 18 goals is not enough. I'm sorry for someone £100 million. It should be at least 40 goals right now, at least 40, 50 goals, not 18.
As a winger, yes. I think he was always a midfielder, and we should not have bought him. I think we should have gotten someone else.
Echeverry, the future of this team. I think Echeverry will get a chance in the World Cup. He will. I think we'll see Echeverry at the World Cup. 100. I think Pep wants to play him. I think he does, but I think right now it's more of a case of he wants to trust experienced players, and I get it. I think if you asked him, do you want to play him?
Do you think if, let's say, in the last 2 games of the season, top 5 is secure, do you think he'll play Echeverry?
Yeah. I think he wants to experience players, and I respect it, because if you give Echeverry a chance, he's shit, confidence goes. Again, I think we find Echeverry, but I understand it. It's frustrating, but I get what Pep is. It's rocking a hard place. You're screwed either way. You'd rather just say, right, in training, adjust to Manchester life, Manchester City, then you're in the team with Bob and that. I think in the summer, Bob and Echeverry are going to be really key players for us in this World Cup. Foden, look, for me, he's enough credit to Manc anyway. I'm not selling him anyway. I'm obviously going to keep him. But I think for me with Foden, especially this contract, I think obviously like Haaland's contract, I wouldn't do it now. I probably would say you want to give him a good run off like back to level again and say, right, there's a contract. Because again, I'm not saying he doesn't earn a contract. Obviously,
if Foden ends the season strong, then give him this contract at the end of the season. That's what I would do.
Let him find his form again. I want him to. I'm desperate to see Foden again. I'm backing Phil constantly, but he's got to show us the level. He's got to show us the level. Grealish, look, is what it is out the door. Gundogan probably 1 more year. Probably did last year. Probably if not 1 more year. I don't really know, but he'll be off by next summer anyway. If at maximum. A Kovacic 1 more year for me. I wouldn't sell him just yet. I think 1 more year of him, then move him on. McAtee out the door. He's wasting his career here. Just go out and get first in football somewhere else.
Yeah. Especially if we can trade him off for Florian Wirtz. Like, obviously, we'll provide some money as well. But, like, Ortega and McAtee, honestly, they're just trading tools at this point for Florian Wirtz because Leverkusen wants both of them.
Gonzalez, brilliant. I know he's not been world class, but he's done his job perfectly well. Can't fault him at all at the moment. Obviously, he's been doing this. He's playing with a very average midfield. With better players around him, he'd be I'm not saying Rodri level, but in the future, he'll be a good level player. Rodri.
You remember when we had like Rodri Fernandinho? Like Rodri being sorry for Fernandinho? That's what I wanted from Nico and Rodri.
Nunes.
By the way, just on that previous statement, he is not with a great midfield, but that doesn't mean he can't play a single lateral pass because he needs to get that in his game. And I think he will. Because he's 24, 25, I believe. Something like that. I think play him a bit with Rodri, and I think he'll be fine. But he will never be Rodri. Like, people need to understand he will never be Rodri. He'll never be that level. And that's fine. Rodri is a Ballon d'Or winner. You can't say you have to be a Ballon d'Or winner or you're not good enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, look, Nunes out the door. Look, again, I like him, but not good enough. O'Reilly, future of this team. Obviously, next season, the season after that is when you will start seeing Nico getting to good level, I reckon. Perone.
He's still on our books.
I don't know, because he's not. I wouldn't mind him as a squad player. I wouldn't mind him at all as a squad player. But it's like, but do we want to be wasting this guy's career? Or do we let him go out to Como on permanent deal? I don't know. It's a hard one, that. I like him.
He was on our books. I think he'll get sold off.
Yeah. Phillips, just get him gone. Roderick, he's staying, obviously. One more. Apparently, he's signing a 5-year deal. Apparently, something like that. He's getting another 5-year deal. So it'll be into his like late 30s anyway. Savio, future of the team. Bernardo Silva, 1 more year, then he'll be gone probably. And you know what? It'll be sad when he goes, because he's not Kevin De Bruyne sadness, but he's a proper cultural hero of this club. He's been like, I can't fault. Look, I don't want to leave, right, but he's still been here. I thought, right. I can't fault. Like, he's played so many games. That's the issue with Bernardo, and way too many games for someone of his level. He should have been managed better, but I can't fault the levels at times. Like, treble season, unbelievable.
Bernardo Silva needs to watch out that he doesn't end up like the Carl Walker part, because he's giving interviews right now, and some of these interviews, like, you know what Pep needs to do? He needs to tell his players, listen, if you're not the captain, don't give interviews. Like only the captain.
Kev's fine, by the way.
Yeah,
Kev's great PR, because he says that it is.
If De Bruyne says, I'm fucking tired of Man City, and he won't because he's not. But if he says I'm tired of Man City, people will blame the club, not Kevin. Like, that's the difference. Bernardo Silva, he's good. He's not Kevin De Bruyne good. So there are levels of being good, right? De Bruyne is in that very high bracket of being good. Maybe just below the GOATs. De Bruyne can say whatever the fuck he likes, and people will defend him. De Bruyne can say the most fucked up shit he likes, people will defend him, because that's how good he was.
But he won't know, because we with De Bruyne, right? We know.
I say it though, because if Bernardo Silva says the wrong things, people will get onto him. De Bruyne is fine, because nobody will ever get onto his case. Bernardo Silva, he needs to be careful with what he says in interviews. Because
with Kev, though, he's proven it, and he hasn't even played that badly this year. Right? I know he's been like the levels have been dropped up, but it's not like he isn't for the what trying. It isn't defending him, right? He has been great, but that's not his fault per se. He's been like, he's had his hamstrings a bit are like wet paper towels now. Like the guy's literally given everything for his club, and it's. I think for me, in a way, I think it's good that it's going at the right time. I know we want maybe 1 more year, but I think, you know what? If we get Wirtz in, then fine. I'm fine with it. But it's all about getting someone in to replace, not replace him, but just, come in and fill that void. Just try and fill the void possible. Because you'll never ever get a Kevin De Bruyne player ever again.
It's like getting it's like replacing Fernandinho. Like, okay, we got Rodri, but he's not the same player that's Fernandinho.
He's a different player.
You can argue he's better, but he's different.
Like Aguero. Haaland came in.
Yeah, you can argue that these plates are better than the plates that they replaced, but they're different plates, fundamentally different. So you will never replace De Bruyne, even if Words ends up being better, and I doubt it. If Words ends up being better, he's very close to De Bruyne in style, but like he'll never be a De Bruyne replacement just because he's a different player. And I think that, like I use the word replacement a lot, but I think I think what we need to acknowledge as well is you can't find replacements for players because players are individuals. Like when we say a replacement for a player, we sometimes forget these are individuals, these are people. They're not replacements for other people. They're coming in to do a new job. Words is the best player we can get to do a new job at Man City.
Yeah.
I want Words because he's the closest thing to De Bruyne we'll get. He's not De Bruyne. You know the quotes. You know the quotes. You're no Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, I heard of it, yeah.
That is what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about getting anyone in for De Bruyne. You're no De Bruyne. And that's fine. Like, by the way, he won the presidency, yeah? Because if you don't know, the quote, "You're no Jack Kennedy," was used against a presidential candidate who ended up winning. But that was used against him. Just because you're not Jack Kennedy doesn't mean you're shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? The same with De Bruyne. Just because you know De Bruyne doesn't mean you're shit. And we're never going to see another De Bruyne. You know what we're going to see, though? We're going to see heavy criticism for whoever comes in to be De Bruyne.
It's one to say to everyone in the fan base right now. Like, if you ever watch this, people on YouTube and that, whoever comes in to replace him, just don't compare them. Please don't. Just don't do it. Like, I know we got Haaland in to replace Aguero in a way, but Haaland's a different player to Aguero. Everyone, every legend of this club, right? And don't mind, I'm not. The term legends hand around way too much nowadays. You're right. It's way too easy to. But when I look at it, Aguero's legend. Title-winning goal, many goals for us. Europe, I wouldn't say Champions League winner, but I think that's not necessarily his fault. I think he's been a brilliant player for Europe in big games and that, so I can give him that. Toure, it's a hard one with Yaya because I think Yaya Toure was a fantastic player for us. I think the term legend, though, is very easy for anyone. I think he's a cult hero that I think towards legend. It's that area where if he's legend, fair enough.
You know what is a legend? Someone that will be talked about 70 years down the road, 60 years down the road.
Roy will, David Silva will, yeah.
Colin Bell is a legend because people are still talking about Colin Bell.
King Kevin. That's what I'm saying. Like, obviously, Colin Bell was king of the kickbacks, the main road. Kevin De Bruyne was king of Etihad. And
give him his stand.
Yeah, Colin Bell stand, Kevin De Bruyne stand, Pep Guardiola stand, the kickbacks, not the South stand. Name the kickbacks because I know we're both young, but we know
what they should do.
History. Go on.
Fuck the blue wall. Name it the kickbacks, but they won't do that.
Because do you know what it is, right? If you name the kickbacks, right? I know we're young, right? I mean, hearing I say it's a bit cringe, right? But we know our history of the club. We know that look, we weren't there because we weren't born there. Like, or I was born in 2000, like 3 years before we went on Etihad. Like, it was the last few years that I made road. Like, and also I was 3, so I barely remembered anything at 3 years old.
You don't have memories of being 3 years old.
Barely. I'll be real with you, right? Most of it was I'm disabled, so most of it was done with like hospital now, unfortunately. But it is what it is. But
most of my memories being 3 years old is breaking bones. I was a stupid kid, bro.
But I know that. But see, to me, right, I think in the summer I'm going up to Manchester to go to like main roads where it was and sort of go around the area and sort of see it. Because as a City fan, I think it's important to, wherever you can, go to the old main road site so you can at least experience that. You know, it's not there anymore, but you knew like that was where the City was from, not the Etihad main road, Hyde Road. You know, them two ground before main, like. There, for me, Main Road is still Manchester City's home. Yeah, the Etihad is where it is now, but the Etihad obviously wasn't meant to be City before it was bought out by City. It
was called definitely, by the way. It used to be called the City of Manchester Stadium.
It wasn't.
That's actually a boring name, though, to be honest. Like the City of Manchester Stadium. That's like a mouthful to say. But it should have a more like English name. You know what the thing is, yeah? These stadiums need an English name because Club Brugge, who is going to build a new stadium, they were going to call it the Olympiad Stadium. And they were like, well, that's not a Belgian name. No, it's not going to be called that. And fans were liked it because the new stadium we've been waiting for 16 years. Oh, it's not the name we want. We don't want it.
They've got to scrap this whole Etihad Stadium, Emirates Stadium. Just call it Highbury. Call it Main Road. Just, honestly, right? If you
I'm fine with giving it a new name, but it has to be an English name because it's an English team. Give it a local name, like Arsenal, wherever the fuck that Emirates Stadium is. I actually don't know where in London it is, but name it after the area in London that it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with the Etihad. I don't actually know where the Emirates is in London, to be honest. I've never been there.
Is it?
Emirates Stadium. It's somewhere in London, that's what I know. It's apparently by Alfred.
The Etihad Stadium is, well, obviously I shouldn't look in the area, but it is. Yeah, well, they address Etihad Campus Manchester, right? But the thing is, like, I know it's specifically an area, specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I should know what I should know it, but like it's like right, Ashton. Was Ashton New Road is where it is. It's near Beswick and Bradford and that, and the Miles Platting and that. So it's around that area. I don't know why you just can't call it like. Well, I'm not saying Bradford because it's not Bradford, but like you can still like make it a name to the area. Like I know it's corporate branding bollocks and that, but you can still make it like and keep the. I think if the club had kept right what Main Road was right when and they moved over to the Etihad, I think I genuinely think it would have been a much better. I do wonder why did they just keep Main Road where it was right and then like just make it and then just rebuild it.
Well, but that happened before the ownership came in. I don't actually remember that time because I wasn't born yet. When did they break the stadium down? 2002? They built a new stadium?
I think it was, yeah. Because we moved in 2003. That was
it. So I was 1 year old, so I actually don't remember anything about that.
Yeah, because basically, obviously, because originally the plans were to build Main Road back in 1922. For over 100 years ago now, because it was Hyde Road was the original ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Main Road, obviously. Then obviously, because obviously, apparently, because that's it. It's Moss Side. That's it. Because it's Moss Side. That was where around it was.
You know what a shame is, by the way? I just looked up where the Arsenal Stadium is. They have. It's literally right next to where Highbury used to be. And they have a store right there called Highbury Store. They called Stadium the Emirates.
Shameless.
What do you think the new stadium for Man United will be called?
The thing is, right, it's called Old Trafford, so call it Old Trafford. Honestly, I'm sorry, right? Yeah, but the thing is, if you just call it like some like the Ineos ground, like really, like it's like I love them the names like the Nou Camp, the Stade Velodrome, Santiago Bernabeu, San Siro.
Yeah,
is it the stadium? What's the Dortmund ground called again? Is it Wolfstadion? Is it? No, it's not.
Who's the ground? Dortmund.
Dortmund's ground. Yeah, what's it called again?
I should know this. No, I should know this, bro. Signal Iduna Park.
That's it. Sorry, yeah, Signal Iduna Park.
I should know that. It's called the Westfalen Stadium and also the Signal Iduna Park. It has like three names. But
bro, but the thing is, bro, like it should be a local area, like Anfield, Liverpool, Everton. Yeah. Like the thing is, Everton, Bradley Moore Dock. It sounds okay, but Goodison Park is Goodison. It's where Everton are from.
You know what I think though? If it's a local name, it will always grow on you. Like whatever the new name is from the Everton Stadium, As long as it's a local name, it will go
Bradley Moore
on you.
Dock is called Bradley
Yeah.
Moore Dock, which is that's fun because that's where it is, the area. That's okay. But us, Etihad, Emirates.
Nah, that's cooked. What is Tottenham Stadium called? It's not. It's
what-
not White Hart Lane anymore. Is
It
it?
should be White Hart Lane. It should be White
I
Hart
still
Lane.
call it White Hart Lane.
Yeah, but
And whenever I talk to a Tottenham fan, they still call it White Hart Lane as well.
But it's what it is though. It's White Hart Lane because it's in Emirates. Like I just feel like for me, it's like a ticketing thing. It's too corporate. It's too corporate overlord. Football is meant to be for the fans from the area. If you support a team from overseas or elsewhere in the country, name it the area that it's from.
I agree. Like Club Brugge, by the way, because our new stadium that's been in process for 16 years now. Yeah. Thank you, Belgian construction laws, for being fucked up. So, Club Brugge's new stadium, the idea for that stadium is that it's going to be the Olympia Stadium. That's like the placeholder name. And once we actually know where we're going to build it, then we'll give it a local name, because we still don't know where we're allowed to build. Yes, but that's how it should be. Like, for example, the Etihad. Like, sure, you can give it the name the Etihad while you're figuring out what the permanent name will be. But the Etihad is the permanent name, isn't it? The Emirates, why don't they just call it Highbury? It's literally right where Highbury used to be. I just looked it up here, where at the Emirates is. Highbury Square is literally right across from the Emirates. Call it Highbury. You know?
Yeah, I know. That's right. But unfortunately,
as was sealed. You're older than both of us. You're like 27. You're older than both of us, mate. What were you going to say?
No, look, I mean, for me, I'm at that point now where I'm just like, it's like football itself nowadays. It's losing its core of where it should be. Like, it doesn't matter, like, whether you're a local fan, foreign fan, or whatever. And this week, right, it's been mad at that, by the way. Our fan base has lost its head. I'm sorry, that tweet that someone put out, bro. Like, people could say what they want, right, about whatever. But
I mean, that tweet about the foreign fan?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like, yeah, you didn't say right. You didn't say anything racist, but it's the implication.
No. Here's the thing: he did, because this is what they do. They say, "Oh, I didn't say anything racist. You implied it, and you know you implied it."
That's what I'm saying. He didn't say it, but he implied it. It's the implication.
Yeah, but implying it is the same thing. What people try to do, and this is something I hate. What people try to do is they will imply things, and then they will say, I never said it. That is politician talk. That is how politicians do things. That is lying. And people say, well, I'm not lying because I never said this, but you can lie by omission. That's a type of lying by omission. And I hate when people do that. That is what politicians do, and I cannot stand that. Because people will try to get their way out of being accountable for that, like, racist shit that they say, because, I didn't actually say it. Like, fuck off, man. He said it. He said it.
But the thing is,
not fuck off to you. I meant to him.
You know what I mean, right? Because the thing is, at the end of the day, right? But you're right. When you imply it, you're also saying it as well. But the thing is, right? At the end of the day, right? Don't make the comment. Just the best thing I always say is, right, with Twitter, right? Just leave it. Because on Twitter, you say it or don't say it, or whether you don't mean it, right? Even if for me, right, the issue is it's always been tourist fans. That is the issue, because people, or tourists, they're not even tourist fans, because even people come over it, right? It's a day out.
Tourist fans are not wearing half and half scarves.
No, they're not. It's people who come over it and don't give a shit. That's what it is. They're the one. At the end of the day, right? The whole point of the protest was against ticket prices. That was the whole point of it, and rightly so, because they're ridiculously expensive. And that's what all of us as fans, where we're from, are behind the groups that are doing it, because we understand that, and that's what it was about. People making it about fans from other countries, mate. You're just a racist idiot. Look, if you're saying abuse, then yeah, obviously it's proven it. But implications, it's just trying to cover it up. Like it's just trying to cover what you got to think before you speak.
You know what a multi-curly strategy is?
What's that?
Right, so multi-curly is a type of strategy and debate where you will have your multi, which is your strong argument, and your curly, which is your weak argument. And what you will do is your curly is what you actually believe, and your multi is middle ground between reasonable and your belief that you understand is extreme. So what you will do is you will throw out your multi first, then you'll do your curly. And whenever your curly gets attacked, you fall back to the multi. And that's a way to shield yourself from criticism while saying extremist stuff. And that is a debate tactic. That is one of the first things they teach you if you actually like study debates and stuff. That is like one of the most pussy stuff I see online. And whenever I see it, it's very easy to recognize.
If people say woke, bro, it's the most easiest word to use now to cover up shit behavior. It is.
Yeah, and most people don't know what woke means.
It means you're aware of social. It's actually a good thing. You're actually aware of stuff, but it doesn't mean.
You know what's funny? I saw someone saying this is woke stuff, and then he explained like why it's woke.
Right.
And he was sounding very woke because like it was some like tweet on like racism, and it was like a racist tweet against white people, and he was like explaining racism is bad against white people, against black people, against Asians, against everyone. And I'm like, yes, what you're saying is woke. What your other guy said is racist. Like people just throw around words that they don't understand.
Exactly.
Big up to Oliver, by the way, still in chat. I think Oliver is a good example. People like to throw words around that they don't understand. Because if you don't know how Oliver and I first met, is well, we didn't meet in real life, but like our first interaction was like an argument about Pep, and he used a fallacy. I can't remember which one he used, but he used it incorrectly, and I was like, "That's not what that means." And like, if you're ever gonna like use big words, look up what they mean first.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, you will remember stuff wrong. Even if you think it's simple, you will remember stuff wrong. And when people use words, if you use a word incorrectly, it's just embarrassing, isn't it? And it's just people need to stop throwing words around.
They do. Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, right? Just it wasn't not to say don't say it at all. Just fucking just get off. At the end of the day, right? Look, Twitter itself and social media, right? We think when we say things, right, it sounds good in our heads, but in reality, it's not at all. Look, don't get me wrong, we've all been there, but you've got to think before you say things. Think, you know what? Would that sound that way? Like you might have meant something pretty different, but at the end of the day, but it doesn't matter. If you say something like that, it's going to be implied that way. I don't care if you think that way or not.
I don't remember. Sorry, I thought you were on. Go on.
But you got to think about what you say nowadays. And I've been there myself. I'm not saying racist, but it's something that you might say. And someone might find offensive, not because you're racist or like that, but it might sound bad. You got to think, would that sound right on Twitter? It sounds crazy, but that's the way we live in nowadays. You got to be careful what you say now. You really do.
Yeah, I agree. I don't remember the exact quotes. Maybe you will know it, but it's like people don't judge you on your intentions; they judge you on your actions. But like you can have good intentions, but do it wrong. People will judge you on that. People don't judge you on what you want. They judge you on what you end up causing. And that's, by the way, how you judge other people. You only judge yourself on your intentions. Like, let's be honest. You can have good intentions and do something bad because you were misinformed. People will think of you as a bad person for that. Even though you had good intentions. And you will do the same thing to people with good intentions that do something you consider bad. Because even though people can have good intentions, we judge people on their actions. Because actions talk louder than words, which is often not actually the case, but that is how we view things. And when we have like people on the internet right now, as you said, the fan base is in head loss right now. It's just head loss, let's be honest. Yeah. People are saying stuff. You can mean something that is not racist, if it sounds racist and you're implying racist things, I'm going to think of you as a racist. And that is just how the human brain works. So you need to be careful when you say this stuff. Like, I can sympathize with people who say something and get misunderstood because everyone has been misunderstood. But you have to apologize for that stuff, I think.
I'll be
you have to
real.
apologize for that stuff.
I'll be real, right? I'm at the point now where, like, if it gets worse next year, I might just leave Twitter. Like, I know everyone says they're going to say that, but it's getting just. I'm getting bored of it. Like, because the thing is, like, next year, I'm not saying City get worse, but it just gets more and more time. I'm getting off because honestly, right, I don't want to be sat there thinking, shit, I can't say that because someone's like. I'd rather just get off Twitter and just enjoy my fucking life. Like, I mean, what was it? I mean, big up Tone, by the way. I think Tone's been on a lot of shows himself, was his own podcast with Martin and that. I was chatting to Tone about it and asked him, how's it been on Twitter? He loves it. And obviously, he's on the podcast Twitter, so he watches Twitter through that, right? And he's enjoying that a lot more. But he doesn't miss it. I don't blame you. Don't come back like in that way. Like, just
Twitter and Instagram are the two most toxic, I think, social medias.
I might just make the podcast Twitter that I do, right? I might just make those two accounts. Like, them two accounts are just on Twitter. I'm gonna get off it myself because I mean I know I've got a lot of followers, but it's not fun anymore. Twitter used to be a lot of fun because it used to be actually a good way to discuss things. Now it's like
it used to get moderated.
It's not anymore. It's when you give too much power and too much openness to people, they ruin it for everyone. You've got to. There is freedom of speech, but you've got to be a bit more right.
You know what you need to do, in my opinion?
Right.
You need to, if you want that freedom of speech, you need to give people the ability to create their own moderated communities. Like Reddit. In Reddit, you can have a community about everything and have your opinion on everything on Reddit. You can go to a subreddit that agrees with you and talk and say your stuff. But you can also go to another community, be an asshole, and get banned.
Yeah.
So, but you're not banned from all of Reddit. If Twitter wants to go down this free speech path, allow communities where you can ban people who are bad to the community without banning them from Twitter. That is what I would do.
No, I agree on that one. I agree.
Easy win Sunday says on stop again. Stop for the short. I'm not sure if it's going to be easy. I don't think we'll win. To be honest, I still think we'll draw. I just feel like it's a draw.
If we get a 2-1 win, I'm taking it. Give me the most awful 1-0 win ever. I don't care if it's 1-0 season. Just get me out top 4 and get me out of there. Get FA Cup. Get Kevin FA Cup as captain. Lift it up as club captain. One last celebration with Kevin De Bruyne. End season. Because I think we're all done with the season now. Everyone's done. No matter if you're positive about it or not, we need a break from City. I need a break from City. Like, we've got the Club World Cup. I don't care about that as much. I might watch it a little bit to see what we do, but I don't care that much about it. I just want to get to summer and enjoy our summer off.
That's what I'll say. I will not watch the Club World Cup. If we win it, I will celebrate it.
Yeah.
Not because I cared about it, but because I'm about to be shameless. Because again, if we win the Club World Cup, depending on what to do in the FA Cup, we either draw or surpass Arsenal's trophy cabinet. So even though I don't even consider the Club World Cup a major trophy, you best believe I'm gonna melt that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we talk actually about Man United shortly, we've had a good week. We have had a good week. We beat Leicester, and before we beat Leicester, I did not expect to beat Bournemouth with that lineup. I expected to beat Bournemouth. If you go back to my preview, I did predict 1-2 Man City, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you were so negative when you saw the lineup." I predicted 1-2 Man City. I thought that lineup was atrocious, but we won, and I'm happy that we won. O'Reilly was so good that game. Haaland, actually his first bad game in a long time, and he's kind of lucky in a way he got injured because he's escaping a lot of criticism that way. If he did not get injured, he would be dead from criticism too. We played really good in that second half, and then we took it to Leicester. You know what someone told me in the Leicester game during the watch-along? someone told me this game is unwatchable. And I said, yes, that means we're playing well. Because when Man City is unwatchable,
Yep.
it means we're comfortable.
I don't care though. 1-2-0. Like it's a win. Like look, at the end of the day, right? We will get back to that football at some point. We will, but we've got to realise that at the moment we'll just have to get results now. Like on Sunday, if it's 2-1 win, I'm taking it. It's a win.
Absolutely. But that can be the most boring game ever. We win, we get 3 points. You do not get extra points for being good to watch.
And for me, right, I want to say right now, people that worry about Haaland, right, we've got Marmoush. He's actually a good player, you guys. Like, he's not some scrub. He's actually a very good striker. Like, has he been perfect? No. But he's got, 6 goals, like 9 games? Something like, or 10 games. Like that is still very good stats for someone who's new to a team and a new league and playing in a pretty average team.
Yeah. And it's also, by the way, since he has been playing for Man City, we've looked a lot better.
Yeah.
Like him and Nico Gonzalez, we've just looked a lot better since them two have started playing.
I think
now we will be better, by the way. We will be better without Haaland because all of people are saying, "Oh, Marmoush is better than Haaland." Like,
no, both together cook. Both together are very good. Again,
but
I still love a Haaland.
We would be better with Haaland.
Yeah.
But the issue this season has not been attack.
No.
It's been midfield and the fullback areas. Yeah. That's been our main concern, and a bunch of injuries to our centre backs.
Yeah.
That's been our concern this season.
We're not terrible. We're not terrible. I think the issue is, mate, it's been the injuries haven't helped, but also the drop of form hasn't helped. It's been a combination of factors have come together at the worst possible time, and it's cooked our sport, fortunately. But it happens. It's football. You don't always win the same every year. You have to kind of learn from mistakes and go again going forward. I think for me, look, I'll take 4 third. To be honest with you, look, third right now, Forest are still getting results. Fair play to them. Fair play. They're still getting wins. You can't sit there and say otherwise. I mean, who playing next? Who are Forest playing next? Obviously, Chelsea playing as well next weekend as well, aren't they?
I don't think we'll surpass Forest, though. I think Forest is
Forest. Oh, Forest are playing Villa away next. Don't be easy.
Villa away, Everton at home. Tottenham away. I mean, Tottenham is an easy team nowadays.
Chelsea away at Brentford, and if we can get Brentford get a result, and also say Villa get a result or draw, and we can get a win at Old Trafford, I'll take it. And
yeah, I don't think we'll surpass Forest. I think Chelsea is who I'm looking at to drop down.
Yeah,
and Newcastle to just drop points somewhere. What does Newcastle have left for the games?
Newcastle have United next, and Isak will cook United.
They've got Leicester next to me.
Oh, is it a field day? He's going to let Leicester. I'm sorry, right? Look, Haaland, mate, I love you, but I think that's it now. Golden boot. Isak, bro, please go and get your golden boot from Salah.
Well,
please.
he's not playing anymore this season, so obviously. Leicester, then Man United, so they're winning those 2 games. Crystal Palace at home for the Newcastle. I think Newcastle will win.
Villa away for Newcastle. Villa away will be a good game, by the way. That's going to be a good game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there are some teams I love watching Villa, I love watching Newcastle. They both play some decent football. I mean, we play football's a bit hit and miss for us. I know I'm playing watching. You're always right. I need Foden to step up with Marmoush right now. I'm right with Marmoush doing all right, but I need someone else to come in there and do a job as well. I can't just have Marmoush doing it on his own because
Marmoush FC.
Because I'm just saying now, if he's injured, touch wood, we're screwed. Because
absolutely,
we need Phil Foden, we need Savino, we need Doku, we need everyone. Look, Jack's done to recently. Keep going, Jack. Keep going. I need players to step up.
You know what I want, by the way, for the Jack? I want him to play good so we can sell him to a good club.
Yeah.
Because he deserves to be at a good club. But I just think he needs to move on from City. Like honestly, for himself, just for himself. I don't think he'll be happy.
His career's been good. It's a good career. A free league title, the Champions League, FA Cup. Can't fault that. Fair play to you.
You know where he needs to go, in my opinion?
Where?
In my opinion, he needs to go to a Serie A team. That's what he
yeah,
a lot of these Man City players are good, would be good in Serie A. Take Grealish here to Juventus. I think he'll cook.
Not
sure. Have you watched Juventus this season?
I have watched them. They've been a bit I mean,
Yeah, but the new manager has fixed them up. To be fair,
Tudor, yeah, he's done. Look, Motta for me was not ready for Juventus. He wasn't ready for Juventus at all. I like it's like Alonso go Madrid right now. No, not Madrid right now. I think he has to. Alonso right now needs to improve more. This year kind of proven it for me this year. He's not quite there.
He's won an invincible league title though.
He has, but I want to see him do it a bit longer than just 2 years and then Real Madrid. I think he needs to go to a better team than Leverkusen, but lower than Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
I think with us, right, after Pep goes, right, no matter who you get in, it's hard. It is like because you can't expect anyone to match what Pep's done straight away. And
by the way, there's a rumor. Not sure if you've seen it. It's from a pretty bad source that Fernandinho is like the Pep replacement, and that's why he's coming in as his assistant. But I don't think that's true.
I don't mind it being in like Xavi or Iniesta being it, but it's kind of like no matter who you get in after Pep, it's going to be a downgrade. It's going to be a downgrade. So
you're never going to get like a Pep Guardiola level.
Well, when you accept that now, it's fine. Like for me personally, right, when Pep goes, my standards kind of like drop a little bit. But right, okay, we've got to start again with new manager. Let's see how it goes.
You know what though? Pep Guardiola has put the club in a position to have a stronger pulling power. Man City now has a bigger pulling power than before Pep came.
Yeah.
Just winning the Champions League once, by the way, immediately increases your pulling power. By the way, big up to Steve Black here in chat.
Steve.
Jack will go abroad. Jack Grealish, I think so too. I think Jack Grealish will go abroad.
Yeah, he will go abroad. Yeah. I think the Villa link is kind of lazy. I think Villa don't need him anymore. Villa have new players now.
Villa is stacked midfield.
And also, they've got Rodgers, Rashford, Watkins. They've got a very good team there. And Marlon as well. They've got some good players in that team. I think they're not going to need Jack anymore. I think that they've replaced him pretty well for now. I think, for me, Jack needs to go to, I think, Napoli, something like that, or Juve, or somewhere where you can wear like number 10 shirt for them and be a good player. Because I think...
And be in midfield, by the way. Be in midfield.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I think you'll see a world-class Jack Grealish in Serie A. I think when you look at De Bruyne will do very well in Italy if he goes. I think eventually you get something like Inter Milan, right? Imagine Barella and De Bruyne at midfield with
Barella might leave Internazionale though.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of links, but I think he might stay. Actually, I think he might stay, but
it's gonna be weird not seeing Kev though playing for us next year. It's gonna be so weird.
Yeah. 10 years, isn't it? 10 years.
10 years, yeah. Look, it's been a great 10 years, hasn't it? But again, like we all knew it was going to at some point it was going to drop. But I think we all hoped that he'd retire here. But unfortunately, football isn't that easy.
Yeah.
It's not. But 34 though, fair play. 34 years old playing here. We have him 24. That's mad.
And like, is Kevin De Bruyne, by the way, the best Man City player of all time, in your opinion? I think I know your answer, but just to hear you say it.
Right. Well, before I start, I have watched a little bit of Colin Bell, and I get where people are coming from with him. But I think the problem is
best player you've watched.
Yeah, from what I've watched, Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not sure if Steve's actually watched Colin Bell. I'm not sure if he has or not. But
Steve, he's calling you old. He's calling you old, Steve.
Well, to be fair, I'm called worse than Steve anyway, so it's fine. But the thing is, I need from someone who's watched. I've chatted to people who have actually watched Colin Bell, who are in like the 70s and 80s. I've chatted to them about it, and they've said Kevin De Bruyne is for them is the top two, but so they say Colin Bell. Like respect it because I get Colin Bell was an era where football was a lot different. Muddy, mud everywhere, the old school pitches, But again, I think players like Kevin David Silva would actually been good in that era. Some players like we're not seeing me, David Kun. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think for me, right? I mean, like it's so weird not seeing certain players now who aren't there anymore. Like
I think De Bruyne it's more weird than Kun and David Silva because actually Kun Aguero was here for 10 years as well, wasn't he? But 9 years.
10 years, yeah, 10 years. David was here for about was it All in 10 years. I think Company was with about 11 years. Company. He was here longer.
Yeah, but he came here before we were good. He was that third generation that made us good.
Yeah, first generation player. Him and Zabaleta, definitely.
Yeah, him, Zabaleta, absolutely. But De Bruyne, he is like the face, I think, of the Pep era, in my opinion.
Oh, he is.
He is the greatest player in Premier League era for Man City. Okay, Haaland might surpass him. Haaland is not. Give Haaland his start.
I think Haaland will be in the conversation. He will be.
For now, De Bruyne is still that greatest Man City player in the Premier League era.
Yeah.
He is honestly a world-class player. He is a superstar. He's the best player Belgium has ever seen. I don't care if my grandpa rates Skiffle.
I think he is, mate.
He is,
yeah.
He is something absolutely different that the sport will not see another player like him. Like we won't see another Maradona. Like we won't see another Ronaldinho. And
the Messi, the Ronaldo. You won't see him. Yeah.
And I actually think that he is on the level of some of these goats. Like I think he is on Zidane level. He's not better than Zidane. Like anyone who says he's better than Zidane,
I think you're right. And people
different players, but I think he's on that level.
The thing is, you got to remember, right? People say, "Oh, he's not," like because it's nostalgia merchants. They can't fucking let go of that. Different eras, I know, but Kev just done things that I've never that Zizou's done. Volleys, on the volley and that, incredible goals. Like he's done things that a lot of players haven't done in their careers. Like, and you see the influence. Like, look at the way Saka talks about him. Like Erdegaard talks about him. Like players in other teams around the league. He's loved. But look at the England camp, right? A lot of those players love Kevin De Bruyne. Like Harry Kane, big fan of Kevin De Bruyne. I think even Jude Bellingham said how much he loves Kevin De Bruyne. Like a lot of players in that camp really do rate Kevin De Bruyne. Like
I think De Bruyne. You know what I hate? What I hate is when people use a single aspect to rate football. By the way, Steve, met him, Luke, and have programs with him in team, but finished a few years before my City first game. Dad loved him. And Colin Bell. Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, Steve, I've chatted to a few older Blues and that about it, and obviously they told me a lot. But I can watch footage of him, but it's kind of like it's hard because I wish we had a catalogue of all the goals.
Did you watch the 1970 Cup Winners' Cup final? I've watched the entire final. You can find it for free on YouTube.
I was making ago, but I need to watch it again now as an adult now, so I appreciate that. But
I watched it because I was making a video on Joe Mercer, and I just found the entire game on YouTube, and I was like, well, the entire game on YouTube? Okay, guess I'm watching that. So,
by the way, I'm going to say now, I mean, if you watch Nobbins, right? Nobbins did a great Colin Bell documentary. I recommend watching it. If you want to know about Colin Bell and how good he was, trust me, watch that. I mean, look, Colin Bell's favourite player, I think was David Silva. I think I blame him, but I think also he was a Kevin De Bruyne fan as well. I think, but like for me, right, I want to see a tifo of Kevin De Bruyne as with King Kev properly in his hands, and I want to hear the Colin Bell song and also the King and the De Bruyne song.
Just what I want? You know how Barcelona like roll out all the trophies whenever a player retires or something like that?
Yeah.
I want them to do that for Kevin. Bring out all the trophies he's won. Line up his 6 Premier Leagues. Line up his 2 FA Cups. His 5 Carabao Cups. Yeah, 5. Line up his trophies and like have a picture there with him holding the Champions League. Let him hold the Champions League. Just to say
I agree with Steve about you can't compare eras. You can't. Like we're not comparing Colin Bell to Kevin De Bruyne because that ain't fair at all. Like you remember, I think in the current era, Kevin De Bruyne is the best City player. In the before the 90s and that kind of stuff, Colin Bell 100%. Like if me and Alf right did a proper deep dive into the history of this club properly right into every game, I'm sure we could find. Joe, what? Right, okay. Leave a like if you want us to do this at some point in the future, right? We'll go through the history of this club properly, and we know our history of certain players. I
know every trophy Man City has won. Like the year Man City has won it and who scored in the final and
Yeah.
cup finals. So I know that off the top of my
But
head.
we can go through the history of and decades, right, and pick our best players. I generally feel like that'd be a good video to do because a lot of people will feel like, wait, what? Two people that aren't from the area. Trust me, we know our history of the club. We do. We know where we come from, and we know how important that is to keep going with the history. Because I mean, there's one player a lot of people don't know about is Billy Meredith. He was a very good player for Manchester City.
Billy Meredith 1-0 against Bolton Wanderers, first trophy for Man City.
Yeah. Again, I know it sounds mad. I know that, but again, I've got a document where I've kept all the goal scorers of City all time.
All the goal scorers of all time. How big is that document?
One video, I'll share it. One video, and now I'm going to need people in the chat who are older than my chat, right, to give me a little bit of help with it because some people have said that I missed some things, but they say they get how it is. Like it's not easy to get everything right because some games are lost historically, but if you can find it, like I update over time anyway. But Haaland's on currently on 127 goals now, Vince City.
Something like that. Something ridiculous.
I also count friendly goal, which sounds crazy, but I think it's actually it's a City game, so I'm going to count it as a goal.
Nah, I don't do that. I don't agree.
I know, but I think for me it helped because I don't want to get confused. So I thought I could very easily do that if I wanted to, but I might do a document where I keep separately competitive games, but.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to go through probably a lot of games again, but
Pele.
Pele, 1,000 goals.
I think that's a bit Billy like.
Steve, honestly, the Colin Bell, Joe Watt. I know there's a documentary on it, but I'm actually do a review of that because I think that actually would be worth doing a chat about Colin Bell because. Yeah. I think a lot of people, right? I mean, look, even myself, right? I think we know particularly that. We weren't there, but most of us weren't there anyway nowadays. Like, it's only a few people now that were actually in the 60s to probably appreciate Colin Bell and Sunbeam and all that.
Where's left to talk about Alfredo Di Stefano? Like, Dixie Dean, like, it's the oldest person alive was already, wasn't born yet when Dixie Dean retired.
Yeah.
So it's nobody allowed to have an opinion on Dixie Dean.
Exactly. So no, look, honestly, right, in the summer we'll do that. We'll go through the decades and we'll pick a player that that turns up to us and we'll have a chat about it because I know we can't discuss it probably like we're there, but we can at least give appreciation to players in the past because I feel like for me, right, if you're a City fan, let's say you're recent, like the last, let's say 5 years, right, I recommend looking at the history of the club to help yourself out because I think yes, the future is important and the present's important. As Martin said before, the past is also where you come from. I wasn't there at Main Road. I was 3 years old when we left. I'm not gonna pretend that I know about it, but I knew of what it's like, and I've heard stories from fans who have been at the Kip Acts, obviously, and the programs and the players that played there, like King Clardsey, and players like that who played there that were very, very good, and Sean Goater and that. But I feel like it's important to at least know your history of the club. That's what I've always said about it, because when you know your history, it carries you forward.
You know why it's important to know your history as well? Because people will tell you, people will tell you that Man City has no history. So if you actually know the history of Man City, I promise you, there's not a single Man United fan out there who can tell me what played for them won their first league title. There's not a single Man United fan that can do that.
Yeah,
we
Steve,
can.
Peter Barnsley, Paul Powell, Paul Lake, Tony Book. They were good players. Look, again, I've only seen through YouTube highlights where I can find it, but I do know that the players were good.
Tony Book, by the way, is still the only City played and manager to win a trophy with us, as both played and manager.
Yeah, and it's the thing because it's the thing, Steve. Like, because people I've got a book from Paul Lake on the shelf. I've got a lot of City books from a lot of the ex players now that I've read up. Like, it's important to. If you want to actually get more into the history of the club, right, read a lot of these books that a lot of City players have done because it's definitely worth having a read of it because genuinely it changes your perception of a lot of things and also gives you an idea of how the player was back in the 70s and 80s. It's well worth reading. Yeah.
Right, so we haven't really talked about Leicester, but I think that's fine. I think that's fine, isn't it?
We won 2-0. Yeah, 3 points.
Hurrah! By the way, that second goal, that was such the goalkeeping.
Well, look, Mamu scored.
Yeah, Marmoush scored, but that goalkeeper from Leicester.
Hermanson, bloody bro. Leicester, by the way, are shit. Like the bottom three, the bottom three are shit, bro. Well, Ipswich, though, respect to them, they'll do well next year's championship. Leicester and Southampton, bro, I'm worried about both of them. They look terrible right now.
Yeah, I want you to prove that you know every major trophy and final goal.
Go on, bro.
1904 FA Cup final against Bolton Wanderers, 1-0 Billy Meredith. 1934 FA Cup final, 2-1. Freddie Tilson comes off the bench, losing 1-0 to Portsmouth. Scores a brace off the bench, 2-1 Man City wins the FA Cup. 1937 league title. 1956 FA Cup, where Patrick Strootman played with a broken neck.
Yep.
And a familiar name, John Stone, scored the winning goal.
Hey,
Look that up.
Before the Beckenbauer, that was another John Stones.
Robert John Stone was his full name. Look that up.
Robert John Stones. Before Johnny.
It was just John Stone. It was just John Stone. but it's like a single word, so it's not really the same. But it's like it's close enough.
Oh, John. Yeah, John. I know what you mean, but it's still funny. Like there was 2 John Stones.
So that was against Birmingham, by the way. Man City won 3-1, I believe. 1968 league title. Then 1969 FA Cup final against Leicester. We won 1-0 from James Young, and he scored in a few finals actually. That goal was assisted by Mike Summerby's cross. I actually watched that final on replay, like only the highlights. I can't find the full final.
Yeah.
But
it's hard to find games back then, mate. It's hard to find them.
The 1970 League Cup final against West Brom was 1-1 on regular time. Glenn Pardoe scored the winner in extra time, and the game ended 2-1. 1970 Cup Winners' Cup final against Górnik Zabrze. Apologies for the pronunciation. Francis Lee's shot was batted away by goalkeeper, and then a rebound was scored by Young, 1-0. Then a penalty by Francis Lee, which he scored 2-0. Górnik Zabrze scored a goal, and it ended 2-1. Don't ask me the goal scored for Górnik Zabrze. I don't know that, but I do know the 2 other goals in that final, the Man City goals. 1976 Carabao Cup final against Newcastle. Dennis Stewart scored a bicycle kick, 2-1 winner.
Yep.
And Dennis Stewart was a Newcastle boy. He grew up as a Newcastle fan. So obviously that's a big moment to score against your former team, especially a bicycle kick, by the way. I believe right at the end or right at the start of the first or second half. Then the FA Cup final. We go all the way to 2011 now. Yep. The FA Cup final against Stoke City, 1-0. I mean, this is what we've lived through. Yaya Toure. 2012, I mean, Aguero, Man City, United fans cry. 2004, 2013, by the way. 2013. Anyone wants to talk about that final?
Ben Watson.
2014 League Cup final against Sunderland. Who scored that when it was it Navas?
Nasri Navas.
Yeah, just to win it. Navas, I believe.
It was Barini who scored the goal for Sunderland. Barini.
Navas scored the winner, so 3-1. League title.
Nasri's goal, by the way, outside the foot goal. Brilliant goal in the final.
Yeah. So 2014 also league title. Thank you, Gerrard. By the way, which is the only time that Salah and Gerrard have shared a pitch.
And by the way,
Torre,
by the way, shout out Torre. What a season.
Absolutely. 2016 then League Cup final.
Caballero.
2016 League Cup final against Fernandinho against Liverpool. Fernandinho scored, and so does Coutinho. The fourth penalty was Toure, I believe, as well, which was the winning penalty.
Yeah.
2018 League Cup first trophy with Pep. Silva scored the winning goal there, 3-0 over Arsenal. We've got a bit of history in beating Arsenal, I suppose. 2018 Centurions. 2019 League Cup against Chelsea, which ended 0-0. And Sterling scored the fifth penalty. Ultimate Mercenary, ended up playing for Chelsea. And then for Arsenal. Ultimate Mercenary, bro. Ultimate Mercenary.
FA Cup final.
Well, first 2019 for the Middleborough title. 1 point over the Liverpool company. Don't shoot. Um, 2019 FA Cup. I mean, Rep Watford.
David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling. Was that it?
No, Jesus scored as well, didn't he?
And Jesus, yeah. It was De Bruyne got 2, Jesus got 2. Yeah, sorry, Jesus got 1. Yeah. 6 now.
2020 League Cup final. Rodri scored to win it, by the way. 2-1 against Aston Villa. 2021 against Tottenham.
Laporte.
The fucking fact that they sacked Mourinho before that final.
What are they doing? That was it because of the fucking what was it? It was the league, Super League, wasn't it? Super League was the week before, wasn't it? That was it.
Crazy. Laporte, by the way, Laporte has more goals in a final than Thierry Henry and Harry Kane combined. Just so you know, 1-0 Man City. League title, of course, in 2021. Then 2022 league title after the comeback against Aston Villa. Gundogan with the double. Rodri actually scored the equalizer in that game.
That goal was insane from Rodri.
That was a very good goal by Rodri. A lot of people forget about it. Then Premier League title again in 2023. Thank you, Arsenal. Absolute bottle job.
FA Cup.
Then the FA Cup. Gundogan, a goal in 12 seconds or 13 seconds.
That goal, by the way, was unbelievable.
It was a very good volley, by the way. It wasn't just a quick goal, it was a very good goal.
And KDB 2 assists as well. A final.
Yeah, both assists to Gundogan. I don't think they should have given that penalty either. That penalty was...
Oh, God, no. Fucking typical United.
But he won in the end. Then Champions League final, of course, Rodri scored, so we went the treble. We might actually shit that final, but I don't care. We won the treble.
We win it. No one cares.
Then UEFA Super Cup final. Palmerov scored the equalizer. I don't know who scored for Sevilla, actually. Who did score for Sevilla that game?
En-Nesyri.
Was it En-Nesyri?
Yeah.
I can't remember that actually.
It was a header. It was a header against the.
Yeah, it was a header. I remember that, but I can't remember the goal scorer.
And then it was a Palmer.
Then it was Palmer, also a header, who scored, and Walker actually scored the winning penalty in that.
Random Carl Walker.
Then the Club World Cup against Fluminense, 4-0 thrashing. And
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Nunez.
It was. No, I think it was Alvarez scored twice and Foden scored twice, wasn't it?
That was it, yeah.
And then 2024, I mean, league title for Pete. That's literally 9 months ago. We still remember that.
And this year, well, we don't know. So far, we don't know yet.
Community Shield.
I was there for that, and it was. I'm like, right now, I'm like, you're rather Community Shield curse. Well, FA Cup final potentially if we win. Good Forest, hope we do win, but see what happens.
City only team to win league gets 1938 we got relegated. Being top goal scorer, by the way. How do you get relegated being top goal scorers?
Football's a weird game, isn't it? Football's a weird game.
1981 FA Cup final gives me nightmares.
Oh, we lost that game, yeah. I can't remember the actual game itself, but I do know it was quite a bad one.
Sunderland, Tuart apparently played for Sunderland. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. I have a program here of 76 FA Cup final.
Brilliant. League Cup final, League Cup, FA Cup, but yeah.
Yeah, League Cup. By the way, big up to whoever just posted this on Twitter. Ethan, by the way, I don't know if you're watching right now, Ethan, but big up for always posting the thing in it.
Big up, bro. Big up.
Yeah, I think we've gone through everything. Except Leicester, but
we've
who wants to talk about Leicester? Nobody. This has already been 2 hours, so it's been a good one. Just Derby. A bit chill. Rep De Bruyne.
Look, Derby Day won't be easy, but look, it's Kev's last Derby. Make it a good one, please. Make it a good one, please.
Absolutely.
You owe us, players. You owe us a Derby victory and a good performance, please.
Kevin De Bruyne. 20 goals.
If you do that, mate, just beat them and get us a good result. Look,
what is the most goals scored in a single Premier League game?
9-1.
No. I mean, like by a single player. Is it 5?
It's 5. Haaland and Haaland.
No, that wasn't in the Premier League.
Aguero and Shearer.
Game by one player. Was it Aguero? I can't find the stat honestly. Like it says me Haaland, but that's a season.
Aguero and Shearer, I think, one game.
Yeah, it's Andy Cole apparently with 5, and Alan Shearer also with 5.
Aguero.
It's 5 goals. So yeah, 5 goals. How many players have scored 5 goals? Like obviously Aguero against Newcastle, but other than that, it's Andy Cole, Alan Shearer, Defoe, Berbatov. I should have remembered that. That was 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Aguero, obviously. And Palmer came close with 4. And so that helped with 4 against Wolves. This is actually interesting. So we're saying De Bruyne 6 goals, new records. That's what we're saying?
That, mate. The thing is, right, it's not... Joe was really sad, right? It's not a title race this year, because it would have been nice to go on a title race for Liverpool and De Bruyne's last season. This is why I'm a bit annoyed at the club, how it's gone. Again, I'm not putting the foot in, because again, like, it is what it is. But I wish Kev went in a year where we were actually playing okay, so Kev could actually have a chance of winning another league title as captain. But nice to see him do that.
I just hope we win the FA Cup so that Kevin can lift a trophy as captain, because he still never lifted a trophy as captain.
And if Club World Cup happens, he lists that. Great, but again, just give me an FA Cup, please, and top 4. That's all I want.
Absolutely.
And next year we go again.
That World Cup, by the way, that will be mostly youngsters. That will be mostly youngsters.
Yeah.
Like you have to pay a certain amount of like big players.
I rest Foden for that. I rest Phil. Just play at Chivery and Bob and that. That's what I do. I'm Riley.
Imagine if Echeverri starts falling out in that tournament, though. Like he's already been really good. If he starts balling out in that tournament, then people will start going salty again on Twitter. That's something to love. Anyhow.
Oh.
2 good hours of talk here.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming on, Luke. Connect could not make it today. He told us like 2 weeks in advance. Big up to him.
Yeah.
Always keeps us updated about everything. So unfortunately, he could not make it, but next time I think he will probably be on again. So go check out his channel if you haven't already. It's in the pinned comment. Check out Luke if you somehow haven't already. But I think most of you in chat are from Luke's channel actually. So thank you guys for coming in, and I'll see you guys on the next one.